the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
We have the best opening. I tell you what, I feel like I should be the guy on the news fixing his hair when the camera comes on. Oh, excuse me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a thoroughly annoying episode of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. I am John Taman, and with me, as always, is a man who Vegas currently has set at 14-1 to have at least at one time during the season the suction cup dildo appear on that wall behind him. My friend Jesse Martin. How you doing here, bud?
Oh, yeah, I'm fantastic. Beautiful day.
All right, Keith has the helmet spinning. That's pretty cool because Keith, this is amazing. You were recently voted by a panel of experts to have the worst fucking Wi-Fi in all of New Jersey.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. But I don't appreciate you calling it out like that. So,
well, something to be proud of.
I gotta tell you, it's not like anybody didn't notice. So,
I mean, that's true. But listen, I'm gonna get this worked out. Okay, I just got to get someone out here. Until then, let's leave me alone.
Hey, so far so good. You know, as we can see you clearly, you're not frozen. You don't have a ridiculous look on your face. Like
he drove over to Pennsylvania. That's what happened.
No,
so stupid.
I know. So stupid.
We'll get it.
But at least
this time
we can hear you tell us.
That's where the Amish come from, and you're talking about I drove to Pennsylvania. They don't have Wi-Fi.
I'll tell you what. You show them even that crappy Wi-Fi you've had for the last couple of weeks, they'll think you're a fucking magician. I have this in my pocket. All right. Anyway, okay. So we are Washington Commanders fans, and as usual, we've got a really up and down week to talk about. So right up front, we might as well just go ahead and say, Brian Robinson, get well soon. You know, it's a good thing that things are not as serious as they initially sounded. Hopefully, he can get back on the field and continue his dream playing football. I mean,
so.
What else can you say?
I literally haven't been in the news all day today or on Twitter all day today, like nothing. So is there any updated from Rivera?
Rivera had a press conference today, and listen, we got lucky, or Brian got lucky. And when I first saw that on Twitter last night, it was shades of Sean Taylor. That was like the first thing that came to my mind. I mean, I was sad, I was angry. And you just pray that he was okay. And luckily, you know, the video of that TMZ put out, him actually sitting up on the sidewalk, totally coherent. And, you know, when Rivera said he was in good spirits, they went right over and talked to him. And looks like we lucked out, man. I mean, they've been talking on the radio today that he could even be back this year. And that's crazy to even. I thought it was, you know, he might not play again or at least a year before him to come back. But the prognosis looks really good.
Yeah. So I hate to ask these questions, but like I said, I haven't been on the news, and I know we don't want to spend too much time on this. But did they report exactly where he was shot?
They said in the gluteus.
It's the butt.
So it's in the flesh wound there and lower leg.
Yeah,
and it sounds like it missed bones. So, I mean, maybe a couple of lucky flesh wounds, maybe a couple of graze wounds.
Yeah.
Who knows? The fact that they, that he's going to be, it doesn't ruin his life and didn't take his life. The fact that he might even play again this year is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about literally dodging a bullet, you know, for the Commanders. Yeah. Holy smokes. So, anyway,
that's great news.
We hope he gets well soon because, honestly, right now that we know he's out of the woods and everything is going to be okay for him, hey, man, I do want to see him back on the football field because 45 minutes before that happened, I did draft him in my fantasy league, and I don't care whether about that or not, but I do want to see him get back out there and play. He's our running back, and two,
he's a good damn player. I mean, listen,
he's worked hard to get there.
Listen, there's a lot bigger things in life than football. We all
Absolutely.
know. Okay.
Absolutely.
But
For sure.
ever since we saw that first carry from him, he's become a fan favorite. And a lot of people were so upset when we drafted him that they didn't really know much about him, but he has won over a lot of this fan base, and he's a really good kid. It's so sad to see it. It makes people so angry. The gun violence in this, and we're not going to get on a tangent.
No, we're not going to go political.
But it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. And I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad for him. I'm glad for his family. And I'm glad for this team because let's be honest, we need players like him on this team.
He's got a goal now, and he's got a realistic goal. Get back on the field.
Yeah,
that's why I feel about it. Yesterday I was scared to death, but at least now we know he's going to be fine. And even if he doesn't play football to the level that maybe anybody expected, and his career is cut short a little bit, his life is not going to be destroyed by this.
Yeah.
He's going to be okay, and that's the most important thing.
Sure, absolutely.
I wouldn't say. There could be some mental situations there. You never know with people, but ultimately, overall,
sure.
Ultimately, overall, we're all echoing the same thing. We're glad that it wasn't worse than what it is. It's a bad situation regardless, but the only thing that we can do really is just support. It just sucks, man. When it was rumored and announced that he was going to be the RB1.
No kidding.
It just sucks.
And looking good.
I was loving it, and it just sucks that. We can all agree that it sucks that this young man's life was just beginning in the NFL, and here we go. His life was almost taken from him. So, either way, I think we can all echo the sentiment that we wish him well. Fuck football. It's more about his health, his mental health, and his physical well-being.
All right then. Well, I guess I got to pull my notes back up and remember where we were going. Okay, so we had a preseason game the other night, and in the middle of it, I know I was tweeting with a bunch of people, and if you realize that I automatically I disappeared right before halftime, it's because I spilled shit all over my computer and fried it. So sorry about that. So the second half was a little bit I didn't really sit down and pay too much attention to it. The most thing I remember from it was watching whoever our freaking third and fourth and fifth, well, fourth DBs are just getting roasted all over the place.
Number 36.
Well, 36. Yeah, 37. Yeah, all of them were getting roasted. Yeah. The cornerbacks were just getting roasted. And
got roasted twice on a same exact play call.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was one side of the field, right. The right side. And I think Danny Johnson and I think Butler got 8. It was a great double move, man. That receiver played it so well. But still, it was other than that, I thought we played well.
Danny Johnson. Get out of here. Yeah, that's right. Get out of here. Get out of here. Listen, you're a veteran, all right? You're a veteran. Yes, it was a good double move, but you are a veteran, and you sucked on that thing like you were a blind bass in a freaking swimming pool that hadn't had anything to eat for 10 days, all right? You just went right after that thing. Oh, my God. Get out of here.
Yeah, that was ugly.
The other guys, they're young guys. They're not going to make the team anyway. And I think they proved why they're not going to make the team because all you ever saw was them standing there with their head down going, man, how did that happen again? But the only thing Sam Howell looked doggone good for a full game. I thought I liked what I saw, even though he's playing against backup players. It's not too big for him. He was able to really take advantage of him. I like his moxie. I like how he goes out there. He pump fakes and moves guys out of the way, man. I thought he played well.
Yeah, I think Sam Howell really, when you look at the preseason game, that's really all that you're walking away from it is the fact that,
sure,
even though it was against 2s and 3s, but Sam Howell looks good in that situation. He looks like he could be a guy of the future. I think reading everyone's opinion is they're good, for him sitting out a year. And honestly, looking at him, we know that let's say, for instance, if we don't re-sign Wentz for some reason next year because he just didn't play well and we're not, he's not our guy. I'm not saying that Sam Howell's going to come in and light it up, but I think that fans are feeling a little bit more comfortable. Speaking for myself, I think that I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable that, hey, this guy sat a year. He got to learn NFL game speed. And, worst case scenario, if Wentz doesn't get re-signed, how this guy on a rookie contract can come in and really show us what he has against the ones. And that's really worst case scenario. Now we're talking something different. If Wentz plays well and we decide to re-sign him, then you have a guy, to where we don't have to lock, Carson Wentz for 5 years or 4 years. We can try to get a small time contract with him. Again, I'm talking out of my ass as if I do this for a living, but
yeah, what do you do?
Because the thing is that you don't want to keep Sam Howell sitting for 3-4 years. That just doesn't make any sense for him.
No, you don't. They've done it right this time, I think. And I think you're right on top of it.
Right, but his rookie contract, I don't have how many years do we know when he signed? How many years?
He's a later one, so I think he's 3 years plus. Then you get
no, it's 4. It's 4 years.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, he's under contract, so yes, he can technically sit for 4 if we decide to stick with Wentz, and Howell will just have to get over it, or in the future there could be. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. The end of the day, we have a good problem, and we haven't been able to say that in the quarterback position in years. So we definitely have a good problem.
Yeah, we finally did it right.
Best case scenario, he's our number 2 for the next 4 years.
Yes, correct.
That's if Carson Wentz plays well. But I liked what I saw. Now we do got to caution a little bit. It was preseason. He's going up against players that probably won't be on teams, or at least the majority of them. But from what we saw, hey, he looked like an NFL quarterback to me. With some seasoning, like you guys said, doing it right. Let him sit. And we've been saying this going back for the past couple of seasons now. And even last offseason, all 3 of us talking about, wouldn't it be great to draft a quarterback and let him sit for a year, let him sit for 2 years, let him learn the NFL, let him learn the speed, and not having to rush somebody out here. That's what we can do with Hal.
Hey, you're right, but I don't know about sitting him for 4 years. I think at that point,
that's just best case scenario, man. That's if Carson,
if Wentz wins gets us close to the Super Bowl or wins it.
And then that's
exactly
who cares if it comes to that, you know what I mean?
Right. I was going to say Wentz has to turn into an elite quarterback
position.
Yeah.
Right. If he puts us into championship position semi-regularly, you don't have to win it every year, but get us up there where we have a chance at it. And I don't mean wild cards. All right. I mean, winning the division, get into the conference championship game, get there. That's minimum.
Yeah.
Then it's maybe for a 5-year deal for him. And then he comes in after 4, but by then I'd say by year 3, and we'll see what goes on. It depends on how much Wentz is going to want.
Let's remember now, this guy's a 5th round pick,
that's what I'm just going to say.
Yeah. He's a 5th round pick.
Right.
And
there's no pressure.
You think nobody else saw him this weekend?
Sure, but you know what? He's under contract.
His value is going to go up in terms of what he is to the rest of the league.
Hey, he's under contract. That don't matter. And if something dangle that, even later, of course, and even if Wentz plays well, I mean, quarterbacks get nicked up. Having a guy like that in the wings, ready to come in, that has the ability that he has, man, that's you need a good quarterback too in this league. We've seen it time and time again. Most of these backup quarterbacks are trash. A good majority of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We owe him nothing. He's a 5th round, so there's no pressure to get him out on the field. He was a 5th round. This would be different if we're talking 1st, 2nd round.
It's not Taylor Heineke
pressure, right? Though there's pressure to get him out on the field when you're that high of a draft pick. He's 5th round. We owe him nothing. So if he had to sit for 3, 4 is a lot. I will agree. But if he had to sit for that, you're under contract. It is what it is. And I would imagine within that, we're speaking hypothetically, if Wentz was elite, okay, and we're competitive, that, for those multiple years, then eventually Wentz's career is coming, towards an end, or his play is declining. So it will be an easier decision for the team to put Wentz, even if Wentz is on a 5-year contract, but he's declining, Wentz can move to that 2nd spot, and Hal can move into that 1st, and he could be our guy. And he still has Wentz sitting there, even though it's not ideal for Wentz.
His money would be way too much at that point. Wentz's money would be, because the contract was just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Once you make the move to Hal, Wentz got to go.
if it's like, for instance, if we're signing Wentz to a 3-4 year deal,
Right.
and he's declining in his third year, and we decide in the fourth year, that's it for Wentz, he can sit the bench, we're going to eat that cost, but we're going to put the better guy out on the field, which is Hal.
It's a lot of cost.
It's a lot of cost.
Sign him to a 3 to 4 year deal. It's going to be pretty expensive.
It is going to be expensive, but
right?
At the end of the day, you're not going to put a guy out there because he makes a ton of money when he's at the tail end of his career.
No, it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of the way that these contracts are written. That fourth year of a 3 to 4 year contract is freaking massive. The balloon hits.
Well,
so they'd cut bait. He'd be gone. Once they make the move,
after the first couple of years, nowadays these contracts
just go up like
the guarantees are pretty much all gone. Yeah, so it's here nor there. If we're signing Wentz to a contract extension, that means we're doing something fucking right. Then this conversation is null and void.
But I
it's
agree.
A good problem.
And I agree with you, John. Like, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree. Obviously, we're not going to pay a guy a ton of money to play, backup. We cut him and let him go for sure. I mean, I agree with that. I'm just saying, in general, if we have to make an in-season decision where Wentz isn't playing well,
you got that. You got that option.
That's an in-season decision, and then at the off-season is when you cut him, let him go, and Hal becomes the number one guy officially.
Tell you what, it's a matter of if really from any point in the future on, if it turns out to have to go to him, if we have a situation, like last year where Fitz goes down and play 14, if we have something like that, I'm not saying you throw him right in. We talked about Heineke goes in there, but if that season starts to go sideways, you start to put him in. And once you put him in, if Wentz comes back from an injury, you got to play him, but you don't have to keep him at that point. I mean, you can see how he plays next year on his return season. And if it ain't good, you know what you've got as long as Hal performs. So we're okay.
I guess what we proved here is there's options.
We
finally have options, hopefully.
Right.
Now, with this being said, too, for the folks that are listening, I'm not, and I don't think any of us are assuming that Hal is the guy and is going to be the guy next year or the guy. Look, we understand that he played against 2s and 3s, and we're not hyping him up as if he can come in next year and be elite or be a Justin Herbert or be a Patrick Mahomes. None of us are suggesting that. Basically, what we're truly saying is, my opinions, and I think all of our opinions are lined up, is for once we're actually in a good situation, and Hal shows that he can be an NFL quarterback. And I'm going to put this nonsense in here just because I love it. Aaron Rodgers was drafted, and I hate to bring this up and use this as an example because I'm not trying to compare Hal and Rodgers' skill set with their rookie years by any means or when they came into the league. I'm not saying that they're the same type of quarterback, but you can't tell me Rodgers sitting for 3 years, and that is excessive. I will agree with that, but you can't tell me that didn't help him. It did.
It 100% did. Oh, yes, it did. It did.
So it is not a bad thing if Hal has to sit for at least 3 years. It's not a terrible thing because we're doing things the right fucking way. Right. Something we haven't fucking done over the years.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right. So, in talking about Hal, I think we all agree he gets a butt pat, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'll give him a butt pat there. Hold on a second. I was not there right now.
Attaboy. You got to be cute for this.
Attaboy. All right. So he gets a butt pat from all three of us.
Attaboy.
There you go. So it's not that I think what we saw, even though he's against 3s, there's things that you see when he's playing that it doesn't really make any difference. He throws a tight spiral. He's got power behind that freaking shoulder, and he's fairly accurate. That he can work on things like that. He's got a good head for keeping his eye downfield, right? So even a pass rush against 3s, he's also got 3s in front of him. So it's basically an equal thing. They're not as good as the 1s, obviously, but he can keep his head in the middle of the heat. That's what I like. You don't see him make a crucial mental error. And I got that directly, right? All you old people out there with me that remember the old days, Ken Beatrice on Sports Call. I don't know if you are. Jesse, I don't even know if you're old enough to remember Ken Beatrice, Sports Call. He was the first sports call-in show in DC, man. That dude was amazing. You could call him up and say, listen, I want to talk about my kid's junior high lacrosse team. He'd go, oh, yeah, Coach Jackson. He's a good friend of mine. That dude knew everything right off the top of his head. No computers or anything. But
and to add,
he doesn't. I'm just sorry. Let me roll. Why I brought up Ken Beatrice is he told me long ago that the thing about a quarterback, what you don't want him to do in an offense like this with the weapons he has, is you just don't want him to make the killing mental error. Don't fuck it up. Just go out and do what you're supposed to do. Throw it where you're supposed to throw it. Hand it who you're supposed to hand it to, and don't make the freaking mental mistake. And he doesn't. And that's all I got to say.
Don't try to be the hero, and that's the problem that we got out of Robert Griffin. He tried to be
Taylor
the hero.
Heineke.
Here we are.
And Taylor Heineke. Yeah,
right.
Heineke
Trying to be the hero.
Look,
he's pulled it off a couple of times. We'll get that.
Hal has
Jesse,
reminded me. What's up?
Well, that's what I was going to say. You remember, and we actually touched base on this on Twitter. You made a perfect sentiment to what, or tweet to what I was thinking, and it was that play where Hal got out of that.
The escapability. Yeah. Listen,
and then he pulled up that little pump fake and got past the goddamn defensive back at the line of scrimmage.
That play, I mean, we've seen Carson Wentz do that exact same play to us, slip out of our Ryan Kerrigan's grasp all the time. And when I saw that, I was like, it was like deja vu, man.
Oh,
it looked just like
my first thought.
Wentz ran 30 yards up the middle of the goddamn defense.
So he's got some shades of Wentz in him. But to me, and even back to Heineke last year, he's doing things that Heineke did last year, but he's just doing them better. He's got an NFL type arm. He leads his receivers. He looks like an NFL quarterback when he's on the field. Now, listen, if he was a couple inches taller, he would have gone a lot higher. He is short. That's one thing that I know the NFL is worried about. I mean, but look at Drew Brees, man. He's about the same size. I think he's a little bit bulkier than a Drew Brees, but if he can figure out to see over the heads of the linemen, I think potentially he could become a good quarterback in this league because he's got all the intangibles that you want in a quarterback besides the height. He's got the escapability. He's got the arm. He seems like a really, really smart kid. He looks like he's comfortable in the offense when he's under center. I mean, what more could you want from a budding prospect, so to speak?
He could eat a steak every once in a while.
That's true.
And he kind of looked like the Beaver, you know? Hey, Wally.
Jesse, you hit the nail on the head,
running play.
This is why I think we're going to be best. This is why we're going to be best friends forever because I actually agree with you on something. John, on the other hand, that guy.
I know. We're just going to be fair acquaintances. I'll show up at your funeral and see if you got anything on that's too cheap that I can laugh at. All right, real quick.
But before we switch topics, I just want to say this. I am not one of those people that said, if Carson Wentz is having a bad game or something to throw Hal in. That's not what that's
Carson Wentz is the quarterback.
Listen, I do not want to see Hal on the field except for in preseason games for the next couple of seasons. I want to be honest with everybody.
No, I agree.
This year too, I want to see Heineke first, man. It depends on where the season. I mean, if we're like freaking 3-10 and Wentz goes down, whatever. Heineke, we've seen what you can do. Go get him, Sam.
Yep, I agree with that too.
Yeah. All right, so real quick before we do anything else, I want to get this out of the way so I can close this program up. All right, listen up, sports bettors. Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%. Keith, what was that?
20%?
200%.
200%.
200%. BetUS.
That's what I meant.
You did. Well, yeah, you were 10. You were way off. The damn Florida school system. BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, UFC, and MLB. I would imagine that probably includes NHL and all the other cool sports that you can find out there, except maybe little person weightlifting. Don't know if you can find that, but they might have it. You just have to look for the back room in the website. Okay, if you're looking for live in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds, boosters, props, and parlays, we got them. How about fast payouts and exceptional one-to-one customer service? We got that too. I bet you if you go on their website, they've probably got some nifty-looking avatar women that you would really want to, but they're not real people. Just remember that. Log into betus.com or call 1-800-792-3887. That is 1-800-79-BET-US. betus.com, where the game begins. All right, now that we're done with all that, I can close this thing up and get it off my screen.
Very nice, John. Very nice.
Thank you. I've been working on this voice all my life just to be able to do that.
Well, you have the voice for it, sir.
Wow.
This is why you're not just an ass on the show, but you're actually an asset.
You are a riot. By the way, let me just say for everybody out there that's paying attention to us on YouTube, Keith, that haircut, man, it makes you look like a fucking Roman. You look like you should be standing out there with a spear and a shield, wearing a skirt made of leather, telling the citizens to get in line, get in line.
I mean, I appreciate that. That makes me feel like I'm big and strong. So can I quickly, because I know this wasn't in our lineup, can I quickly tell you why I got this nice and fresh haircut?
Well, because Romans were always into orgies and you wanted to try the other side, but you didn't want to have anybody know about it. So you figured you'd just dive into a big pile of flesh and fuck whatever you could find.
Oh, my God, John, that is not anywhere near. I'd like to apologize to my grandmother and my cousin who's listening, and also the hog farmers. Okay.
I
would like to announce. I don't even know why I'm announcing. I was.
Oh wait, well, if you're going to make an announcement, hold on a minute here. I got things to play with. If we're going to make an announcement. Yes. So Keith Gray at KGSkins26 on Twitter, was one of the very few, it was out of 8, that was selected to attend this Thursday's Washington Commanders luncheon with the coaching staff, with team personnel, with the players, with former coaches and players, and stakeholders and shareholders and everybody else that they invited. But speaking of fans, that's right. Your boy Keith. You're going to the welcome home luncheon?
I'm going to the welcome home luncheon.
That's
and let me
cool.
tell
that
you.
That is really cool.
That's let me tell you.
Thing.
That is. And let me tell you, I couldn't be more excited because I understand how cool that is.
It
and
really
let me
is.
just tell you, John, I wish I would have prepared ahead of time because I would have gotten dressed for this.
Yes, you should.
But I have myself a suit because it's formal wear. I got some burgundy dress shoes. Gold socks. Burgundy shirt. A gold tie with a black suit. And man,
you need a walking stick and a hat.
I wish I had that, but I'm not.
You need a gold walking stick. Yeah,
that is absolutely ridiculous. Both.
Now let me add a little bit.
I'm representing the fan base here.
With some ruffles.
Want me to come looking like a fool.
Hey, the shoe fits. This fan base is so foolish. So you're representing the fan.
True, the shoe does fit. I'm representing all idiots.
Consider that watermelon shirt you wore down into Jamaica with your melon-colored pants and your Birkenstocks
and your merce, your man purse.
Don't have flowers on it.
No, that is really cool, man. I swear, that's congratulations. That is an honor to be able to be invited to that thing because it's been going on since I can remember as a kid. It goes back probably to the 40s. The Touchdown Club. It's one of the oldest traditions in Washington, and I think it's fantastic. That's really cool. Yeah, we're gonna get the Bleeding Burgundy podcast represented at the Touchdown Lunch. There ain't no podcast saying that. Well, maybe
that's right. That is right.
That's right.
But no, I'm super excited. I didn't say anything on Twitter because, again, I was only selected out of 8. There's literally a table for 8, and I didn't want to come across as I'm flexing. I didn't want to come across as I'm bragging to anyone. I didn't want to come across any kind of other way other than this is cool. I'm not sure why it's happening to me, but I'm not going to say no when I'm invited to something like this. And
no.
I couldn't help it. I immediately text Jesse and was like, bro, is this even real life? Because I had to tell someone. And I knew Jesse would be, he'd care. I didn't know if you'd care, so I didn't text you. And I talked to Chris Bryant. Other than that, I haven't said a word, and it's driving me insane. But I can't wait to take pictures because I'm going to be walking with so much drip and slag in this place. I'm going to look like, I'm going to look like I got drafted on draft night with the Washington Commanders because you know that they wear ridiculous outfits, and I'm going to look extremely ridiculous, and I can't wait. And you know, now that you got the music playing, just so you're aware, I'm also going to see my boy, Jason Rhodes. That's right, Jason. And I can't wait. When I see him, I'm going to give him the biggest hug. And I'm going to whisper in his ear, thank you, Jason, for letting me come to this event. Thanks for the invite. Now that we're talking, Jason, Thanksgiving's coming up. You gonna invite me to your crib, or are you gonna leave me hanging? Either way, it's Thanksgiving with the rights. And there's no wrong when you're right about everything. Yeah. I literally had no idea what the hell I was just talking about.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you ain't getting that on any other show, and that's for goddamn sure, because we copyright that here on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. If we ever hear Keith doing that on any of your other shows, we're going to have a lawsuit on our hands.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's some of those shows out there operate on a shoestring budget. Let me tell you what, we got production effects. If you look behind me, I'm not using any special effects. I actually had people come in here and paint my house blur. So
You're so stupid.
All right. So let me see here what I have on my notes where we're going to go. So we're talking about the roster. All right. Cuts are coming up tomorrow. Do you see anybody that you should think is a surprise cut? First off, who's your surprise cut, Jesse?
Well, look, I never thought Cam Sim was a roster lock.
They paid him.
And I would. They paid him pennies.
I know they paid him peanuts. They gave him a contract.
But from the talks from all the reporters that he wasn't having a good camp. I think he's going to make it. Now, I know Erickson has had a good off season, but I think he's going to be the odd man out in that receiver room. I don't think there's going to be any surprises, honestly. I really don't. I think Diami Brown, he's had a really, really bad preseason, but
should be cut.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Third on him.
He's a third rounder. They're not cutting him.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I just think he's just going to be inactive on most Sundays. But I don't see. Well, to be honest with you, I just saw that that kid, that safety that I like, Stephen Parker, was just released. So I thought he was going to make the team. So that is kind of a surprise to me. I thought he played very, very well in all the preseason games. But really no shockers.
You can see that when they think that the guy played pretty well, they'll release him early like this, so he has a chance. He'll have a better chance to try to at least get his name out there. People start to see that, and they can maybe start to plan for something like that because he did have a good show.
I also think Jeremy Reeves stepped up, and that probably played part in it too.
Listen, I'm listening to the game on the radio, right? Driving up through Buffalo, actually, when I was listening to the game, the first game. And that's what Bram said. For one thing, let me explain something to you people that are the producers of the Washington Commanders radio. Pop filters. Every goddamn time one of them said a P or a B or a K, my freaking
I saw you tweet about
that. Jesus Christ. So anyway, the point being is that I forgot my fucking point because I was thinking about how bad the production values of that episode, that whole thing is. So
Jeremy Reeves.
Well, good on
Jeremy Reeves. What they said was that Rivera really likes to watch him prepare, and I thought, yeah, that's kind of that's a little stupid. Out of all.
What were you gonna say? You were gonna say something, Keith?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say who I thought was going to be on the bubble of either getting cut or heading to a practice squad, but I don't even think he had to head to a practice squad. I think they would have given him an opportunity for another team, would be Jarrett Patterson. But now with the Brian Robinson situation, And you know, to be honest with you, like I'm not obviously no one is happy about what happened with Brian, and I say it like we're friends, but no one was, you know, no one is happy about that. But there is a bright spot after this horrific situation is the fact that hopefully JP gets a spot on this team and can still showcase just a little bit more of what he has, you know,
it's
what he can get
in the NFL.
And let's
he gets
say
an opportunity now. You're right. That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but he gets an opportunity. And listen, this could be an official audition for him for maybe next season for another
or
team.
other team.
That's what I mean.
You know what?
For other teams. So
the other night too, I thought he ran really well. He's got
He did.
Hips. He's got really good. He sticks his foot in the ground. He gets really skinny through the hole, and he runs like he reminds me of Alfred Morris with kind of, I don't want to say stubby legs, but his legs are constantly churning.
Yeah,
I like.
He's a little bowl. He's a little bowling ball, and Keith, you're right. I with the Brian Robinson news, JP was on he was on the outside looking in, and he could have a shot sticking around on the practice squad. But you know, Jonathan Williams showed out. He showed out from last year and in the offseason. He was your last running back. But now with the Robinson injury, you know, who knows how long he's going to be out. I think he's got a spot on this team for now.
Because people make fun of me and my beers. All right, so this is
it's an old person's beer, just letting you know.
Not real. I actually have never had one until I bought this 6-pack the other day.
You know, John gets very defensive. I've known over the past year since I've gotten to know him.
About what?
He gets slightly defensive when you start calling him old.
I don't care.
He's always
a little bit.
I kind of like it.
A little bit. You're a cool old guy, though. John.
I don't know if this is an old guy beer. I have no idea. I've never had one until I was in the store the other day, and I've recently been drinking Stella Artois, which is really tasty. So I thought
I like Artois.
Yeah, I like it too. So, but you know, so I said, "What the hell? I'll try one of these." And this is the first 6-pack I've ever bought of it, and this is number.
Because you can't see the label until you're over a certain age.
That's what it looks like to me.
Does that say Budweiser? What the hell is that? God damn it! Hey, you goddamn foreigners running the store wrecked everything.
Sorry, fell off the wagon there. Anyway, all right. So you don't see anything that's a surprise. The one I'm really interested in? I want to see, did Dax Milne make the team?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, he's a lock.
Cam Sims,
he's making it.
He has a knack for making a play. He just does. And sometimes he hasn't. But Diami Brown, I could see him as a surprise cut.
Let's talk about Diami Brown for a second. Yeah, let's talk about.
Yeah, Diami Brown, you get a goddamn.
Listen, I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere near the field, and he ain't going anywhere near the ball.
He looked like he was afraid of getting hit. Every time there was contact near, he come up with alligator arms, or he just got scared. And that's the kid's got talent, man. He's got talent to get it open. If you go back to his North Carolina days, he was really good.
What he was playing against guys that are right now probably looking around saying, "Why do I really want to be an accountant?"
I think what Jesse's trying to get at though is Diami Brown he does well at creating separation. What he hasn't done well is catching the ball.
Sure, but exactly. And you know, whether you can create all the separation you want. If you can't catch the ball, you are useless. If you can catch the ball, but you can't create separation and you can still catch a ball, you are very fucking valuable.
I agree. We're just wondering,
is a wide receiver, not a wide runner away from her.
I think it's a mental issue, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, then
that ball that Hal threw was so fucking beautiful.
Why did he stick one hand?
And let's not forget that Hal was his college quarterback.
Right. Yeah. And we saw them also hook up in the game once or twice in the previous week.
Right. And I mean he had a catch last game too. Like he bounced back from his first, bad drop. But then he had that other second bad drop that Jesse was talking about. And it's like,
that was real bad. I mean,
that was real bad. I mean, that was a catchable ball. and you could see the defender. You could see the defender taking the angle, getting ready to hit him and lay him out if he would have caught that. And it didn't happen that way. And the thing is there's no excuse for multiple reasons. But one thing you could say is that ball was thrown right, and it was from a guy who he was used to catching the ball from in college.
Well, let me say this. All right. And I know we're making fun of me for being the old guy, but I do try to listen to the younger generations. And a lot of them are very much against things that make people feel bad. And I think that Dyami Brown knew that if that freaking safety would have laid him out like that, he would have probably stood there and felt very bad about what Dyami Brown was doing on the field, namely writhing around and trying to get his breath. And he didn't want that safety to go through that. So he just let the ball go and said, you know what? I'm more concerned about your mental health, my friend.
Yeah.
That's true.
Look,
at least it looked that way.
Fine. But if he gets put in week 1 and he gets in the game and he's pulling that, my man's got to undress.
He's going to be one of them. He's going to be one of those.
He's got to undress on the 50-yard line.
He's going to be one of those that is only going to dress for the game if there's an injury at a wide receiver position. He's going to be.
You know what he's going to do?
That's what usually happens. There's usually a wide receiver that doesn't dress for games, because of the numbers. I think 45. But yeah, he definitely will not be a participant on Sundays unless there's an injury, because he doesn't play special teams. He doesn't play special teams.
No, I don't know. He would have he'd go get Ron Coffee. So that's important. Let's see here. So that would be the only so-called surprise cut that I wouldn't be very surprised at. All right. So in this offseason and with this training camp and these preseason games, who's caught your eye? All right. So we'll start with that. Offense. Go ahead, Keith. Who's caught your eye?
I got to go with the obvious. Sam Howell, Brian Robinson did too until this situation happened.
Robinson's out of the picture.
Listen, and to be fair, those are the easy answers, So, Jesse, if you have a harder answer, by all means, step in.
I'm going to say two people. I'm going to say Curtis Samuel, and I'm going to say Jahan Dotson. I think even in limited sample size, Curtis Samuel looks healthy, he looks quick, and he looks ready to play. Jahan Dotson, he only caught one pass, but it's the little things that he did, blocking on screen passes. He was open quite a few times, just didn't get seen. I think those two are going to be very, very big in this offense. And I'll even throw out one more. And this is a guy that will never see the field unless injuries happens. Amari Rodgers. I think he could be an eventual big-time tight end. The guy was a quarterback. Transitioned into a tight end because he knew he did not have any future. He's 6'6". He's got hands. He's picked up the tight end position in a very, very short time. And I think he could be a future big-time tight end in this league. It's just not going to happen this year unless injuries. And our tight end room
we are already seeing
our tight end room has been demolished, but
for 2 years in a row.
Because of injuries, you see players like this come up. He's been given a chance, and I think he's played his way.
He's made the best of it. He's my choice. He's the one that's caught my eye. I think he's going to definitely make the roster, even if we didn't get hit with all these injuries during camp. I think he makes the roster anyway. I think Samus Reyes, who we were talking about him. We're going to talk about him for. I think he's supposed to be delivering my package tomorrow. So. Good for Samus. Got himself a new team right away. Listen, he's the one that I like because I think that we can utilize him. I think that if we can get a couple of big body tight ends in there that also know how to block, which I think he can do. He's not the first.
He's picked it up very well. Yeah, no, right. He has.
Then we can start to run. If you could just kind of make Antonio Gibson realize where the hole is, go to it. You got to wait for it to open up like it's supposed to and ride your block through it. He's got to be able to do that instead of doing all the dancy. If he can start, because he's got a shot again. I hate to say that word. That was terrible. But he's got another chance to show that he can be RB. Yeah, that was not funny. That was a mistake on my part.
Too soon, John. Too soon.
Too soon, buddy.
It's just
this guy doesn't ever know when to stop joking. Good.
I don't even think he meant to joke on that one.
No, I didn't. All right, so that's my pick.
Didn't, on
defense. The only one that has stood out to me on defense, Percy Butler looks all right. When I say he looks all right, he looks all right. But most of them, I haven't liked anything I've seen. Jamin Davis looks better. He looks more comfortable. However, the linebackers, if you are still one of these people out there that are saying you don't need linebackers, all right, take a second, take 10 minutes, take a year, whatever it takes, and try to think of me one defense through the history of the NFL that was a great defense that did not have great fucking linebackers. You need linebackers. You got defensive line. They're supposed to go get the quarterback, or they're supposed to tie up everybody else, and you lance in there and get it. But what happens is we get Cole Holcomb out there, and he goes, God dang, man, look at all this here. My god dang mullet standing up on end. Which hole am I supposed to think? Oh, dang. And there he goes. All right. So Jamin Davis, I think, looked a little bit better. He looks a little bit more comfortable, but I need him to step it up because I have no faith in these linebackers whatsoever.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to say the person that stood out the most on this defense is because he's noticeable was Jamin Davis. I think last year left a little bad taste in our mouths because obviously he's a first round pick. We expect more from our first round picks.
Knew he was a project,
but
we didn't want him to be.
On this podcast, we said it time and time again. It's going to take a while for Jamin Davis to get up to speed. But he's the one that has been noticeable on defense. And there hasn't been a lot of noticing anything on the fucking defensive side of the ball since the first preseason game. One thing is very noticeable. Cole Holcomb looks slower than fucking molasses out on the field. That's the biggest worry I have on this entire fucking team is Cole Holcomb. Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I don't think he can do it. I think we're going to be he's going to be in the head smacks all year long.
You have seen it already in the preseason. All right. I don't care what anybody says about it's preseason. When the starters are in there, the same open area across the middle of the field. And you know what? Cam Curl is getting roasted too out there. The defensive backs have not been communicating well. They haven't been passing off anybody well. So the same issues that keep persisting, because you watch him, Cam Curl in a lot of situations in the preseason. Go ahead and watch those games again if you really feel like sitting through and being bored. He misses a lot of shit on those freaking tight end crosses, and a lot of those passovers through the zones. They're not communicating well. But even if they can pick it up, we know they can play better in the secondary. If Holcomb picks it up, how high can he pick it up? I don't know if he can pick it up all that high at all. So that's that's the Achilles heel. And I'm still, when it says what stands out to me in the preseason, that I don't care if it's preseason, you cannot allow offenses to consistently get 8 yards on the first 2 plays and expect to ever stop anybody on third down. You can't do it.
I don't think Holcomb should be able to guard tight ends. I think if a linebacker has to guard a tight end, it should be Jamin Davis.
He runs like coal, as in a fucking mountain underground.
Yeah. I look. Curl had an awful game versus Kansas City. I'm not really worried about him nearly as much as I'm worried about the linebackers, in particular Cole Holcomb. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be the Achilles heel of this defense. I have more faith in this defensive back unit than a lot of people. But still, I mean, they got to make play. They got to be top half of the league for this team to work, to go to the playoffs and have a chance of winning a playoff game. We can't expect them to be top 5. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we've all realized that, but they can't be the bottom half of the league either. They gotta be in that 14, 15, 16 range for this to work.
You know who I don't believe in? Goddamn Jack Del Rio.
I'm just wondering when the fuck it's my turn to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
You guys talk about me being long-winded and talk. So here's my thought process on this.
Who caught your eye?
I have nothing to add because I agree with everything you guys are saying.
Dick.
No, I'm sorry. You're right, because we did get to talking. I thought about it myself. I looked down at Keith and I said, goddamn, he looks awful lonely, but fucking A, he looks good with that new haircut. And he's managed to keep that helmet spinning the whole time.
I know. No, I love you guys, but no. You guys hit the nail on the head. I mean, Cole Holcomb obviously is my big disappointment. Not that I'm surprised. Hopefully he comes in the season and plays better, kind of like he did towards the end. I mean, that's all you can hope for. And Jamin Davis, I mean, he's shown some improvement, so hopefully he can come into the season with that same mindset, continue to show improvement and get better. That's all that we can ask. And it's his second year, like
Right.
Look, it's been worse. Now, is the linebacker core, a problem? Sure. And I'm perplexed as to why Ron says that he's going to look at the waiver wire, knowing damn good and well he ain't going to pick anybody up from it.
We're good with our guys. What the fuck?
Right.
Guy? What are you looking at?
I really am questioning that, and I understand that he's loyal. He's building relationships with these guys. You can see it when you go to camp. He loves these guys, but at the end of the day, this is a business. This is a game, and you've got to make the right decisions to better your team. And I'm not quite sure what we're sitting on now is making us better. So the only thing that we can hope for as fans is that there's improvement from both guys. My concern obviously is depth. I don't want to see anything with Mayo at all, period. So with that being said, right, I love Miracle Whip. So of course, naturally, I'm not going to like Mayo. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm not jumping a ledge, but I agree with what you guys said. I agree with what everyone else is saying. Linebacker core, I think, is going to be our Achilles heel this year.
Yep. I hope not, but that's it. All right. So, coming out of the preseason, coming out of the training camp, your overall thoughts before, next week, we're going to talk about the schedule. We're going to go right down. We're going to pick every game. We're going to find out which one of us, me, is a homer and is going to have us winning probably 14 or 15 games because I'll have them. And by the time we get to game 10, I'll forget how many wins I've already picked and I'll just keep going. All right. So, so what are your overall thoughts, Keith? What about you? You got anything to say? What do you think?
My overall thoughts of what?
How do you feel about it going into the season? Just are you feeling like we've got a chance to be a legitimate playoff contender or a back into the playoff contender? Or fuck off and go home contender.
Listen, it's hard to say. I mean,
it's not hard to say. There's simple fucking words. I mean, Jesus Christ,
man! If you don't shut up and let me talk, I love you. That's okay. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know how I feel. I wasn't hugely impressed with what our offense showed in preseason, but again, it's just preseason. I can't stand you. I'd like to apologize to my cousin. I'd like to apologize to my grandma who's listening, and also the hog farmers. Anyways, I'm going in hopefully feeling optimistic that we have a better team than we did last year. And when I say
what happened to him?
He went out. Well, while he's trying to fix his shit, I'll go.
No, I'm back. I'm back.
He's back.
Sorry. I had a phone call.
He realized we saw his boner. That's what happened.
I had a phone call, and because I can't stand you guys. Look, I got to finish my thought because I got to head out.
Okay.
I'm just going in optimistic, hopefully, thinking that we have a better team than last year, being that we kind of boosted our quarterback position. We've got some offensive threats. What I'm hoping for is that we at least get 2 more wins than last season. With this new way that we're, this extra game and more opportunities to hit, wild card, is there a possibility for back end playoffs? I hope so. Just for us fans, we deserve it. But
so you're still seeing us around nine wins?
Yeah, I've been calling 9 wins all off season.
Well, we'll find out next week.
Yep. So 9 wins. Hopefully back end playoffs, just to get us fans something to be excited for the following year. But I don't really see much more than that. And I think it's actually a stretch that we even get back in playoffs. But it's not out of the question.
Yeah, before training camp, I was a little bit more optimistic than I am now. Obviously, I'm a little bit more pessimistic, but I'm a pessimistic type person anyways. The defense leaves a lot to be desired. That's the one thing that I'm worried about. And Keith said it right. It's just you're not sure what this team's going to do. I think our offense has improved. I think we got really good playmakers on our offense. How is Carson Wentz going to do? He looked okay in preseason, nothing spectacular. But one thing that I did like is one of his problems was he had issues with the short game. Well, it didn't look like it during preseason. It looked like he hit all the short passes. It's just defense worries the hell out of him. We have an easier schedule. That's got to be 2 more wins, right? Even if we basically stayed the same. But since we've improved on offense, I guess I'm still in that 8 to 10 win range right now. And that's just what it is.
I think that they're built to be able to shoot it out a little bit more, be able to score more points. Hopefully the offense.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to.
I have no faith in Jack Del Rio. I see the same dysfunction. When I'm hearing that they're not communicating well, when I'm seeing the results of it. Because look, I don't care. Oh, Patrick Mahomes just does Patrick Mahomes things. Well, yeah, sure he does. Especially if you leave the middle of the field so fucking wide open that Patrick Mahomes could do it from a goddamn wheelchair facing backwards. All right. It's just it's beyond ridiculous that this continues to happen. And I started last year. People told me shut up, and you guys, Jack Del Rio. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do. I don't get it. I hear people telling me, well, linebackers these days you only need 2. Well, apparently not. Apparently we need to get back to a more conventional set to get some guys out there that know how to goddamn run and tackle, because that's what their job is. That's what the linebacker's job is. Run and make the tackle. Run, make the tackle. Run. And they can't. Jamin Davis, let's hope he can. But I looked up Kaliki in the freaking dictionary the other day, and it said Greek, man who can't run for shit. And David Mayo,
that's sad
David
because
Mayo,
because when we drafted it, he was
he was good for Michigan.
He was great for Michigan. Yeah, man, he was really good, really fast, and I don't know,
he just hasn't been able to put it together here.
Maybe I doubt this is the case, but maybe we just haven't seen shit, and they're holding their cards to their vest. I don't know. I'm holding out hope. That's
you got a lot of optimism. Just like we saw this last year. But seriously, I would love to see Kaliki Hudson turn a corner, but the dude has to get on the right block to even get to the corner. Sure. I don't even know if the guy's in the right city right now. He's probably standing on his fucking bus stop somewhere going, I don't even know where the goddamn corner is I'm supposed to be. But he looks small out there. He looks like he just gets manhandled.
I want to go back to this last preseason game on the defense side of the ball. Beside those couple pass plays where the coverage just extremely broke down, I saw good things. I saw sound tackling, and in this, I even tweeted, I was like, "Can we just start our 13 defense?" Because it played well, and I don't know. I'm hoping we see that besides the coverage breakdowns, obviously.
I don't know. Maybe it was bring your kid to work one day, and the defensive backs coach told him, "Okay, here, come on out here, and you can call the second half." Because Jesus Christ, none of them knew what the fuck they were doing.
But it's it is what it is, man. The off season is now over. This is it now. This is
well, they're going to be closed door for a while now. I got to go install what we're going to actually see.
Yeah. But I have hopes for the offense. I do. I do think, like you said, I think we have the capability of shooting it out. I think it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride with Wentz. I think we should expect that. And he's going to have his plays where, like, holy shit, he's the best quarterback we've ever seen in Washington. And then there's going to be times where why the fuck did we sign him? I think it's going to be a roller coaster ride like that. But I'm along for the ride no matter what.
Fuck it. That's what we're all here for, right? Yep. That's what we're here for. All right, so I have a piece of audio here. I don't even know if Keith can hear us because there's his face, but I'm guessing he's out.
No, I'm here. I can.
Oh, you're there. Okay, good. So I have this piece of audio. This was a piece of audio sent to us by KB Moore over there at KB Moore, our friend. This is Jerry Jones on NFL Network, I think.
Right. I can't tell you how many times in my life when I have had it handed to me in a lot of different ways, but I went back to work, got up on Monday morning, and there it was. Glory hole. Right there in the middle of it.
Resiliency.
All right,
there it was. Glory hole. There it was. Glory hole.
And now the best part for me is at the end, you get Stephen A. Smith here. This man just got paid $10 million a year, right?
Yeah.
He just got paid a shitload of money.
There it was. Glory hole.
All right. So I'm thinking that we need to call up Jerry and ask him just what the hell he's talking about, because he keeps talking about the glory hole. He's been talking about it for years, and people that are of your age groups don't seem to understand what this means because y'all have a completely different meaning. So you ready to give him a call?
Let's give him a call.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right there, boys. Now, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm about, I don't know, 80 years old or so, and I can't rightly remember who it calls me all the time. So, if you kindly identify who you are.
This is your buddies from Washington, D.C., Jesse and Keith from the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. You've been on here a bunch of times.
Right. That's right. I remember you fellas. You know what's fun about your show? I swear I can say anything I want because nobody's listening to this. I ain't getting
right
in
about
trouble
that.
with anybody.
Okay, first of all, Jerry, let me stop you there. My grandmother, my cousin is listening, and also the hog farmers. So you're going to have to take it easy.
Well, let me tell your grandma and the hog farmers that if they go on over to cowboysshop.com right now and put in the promo code 2022 playoffs, they can get themselves 10% off a brand new CD Lamb jersey. Or you can even go in and buy a piece of Tyron Smith's hamstring. We picked it up off the field, we dried it out, and we cut it up into some nice collectible slices for everybody. And if he can get up off the bed there in a little while, we're going to see if we can get him to sign a few.
That's mighty nice of you, Jerry. That's mighty nice of you. Now,
I
Jerry,
think, you should be able to exploit people for as much as you possibly can. And that's why Cowboys fans are my favorite.
is that why your franchise is worth the most in the world in sports franchise history?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, can you listen? It's not very difficult whatsoever. As long as you're owner of the Dallas Cowboys and you just promise these yahoos that they're going to go to the playoffs every goddamn year, they make you a multi-billionaire, for Pete's sake. They'll buy practically anything. Look, I put a star on a used rubber that I had that was laying around on my hotel room floor, and I sold it for $150. I'm thinking about having a collection.
That's stupid.
Jerry, hold on one second.
They're so easy, it's ridiculous. All you have to do is just say Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl, and they get themselves all fed up and filled it. And it's just easy. It's the easiest money I ever done made.
It's really weird because as I'm looking at John, I thought John, had dropped off the show. But it looks like John is mocking you as you're talking, Jerry.
Well, yes. Hey, you see, this is what you call show business, you blooming idiot. I mean, this is how it goes all the time.
Have somebody let that slide, Jerry.
Well, I'm telling you something right now. There's a bunch
Jerry,
of people sitting in the ocean right now saying, why couldn't I evolve? Look at this moron. Jesus Christ. How come I'm stuck sitting out here in the goddamn ocean?
I think, John, you should shut your camera off because it's weird. It's freaking me out in the show. Like I'm watching your lips move. And
let me ask you this, Jerry. You kept talking about, and you keep bringing up every few years, fans, we hear this. What is your glory hole?
My glory hole? Well, I like the one down in the truck stop off of Route 39 outside of Abilene. That's a goddamn good one. I'm telling you right now. There's always somebody over there. They always say thank you when you're done, and you never know what you got. Sometimes when it clears its throat, it sounds like this, and you go, "Oh my God, I hope nobody I know saw me in here." But that's the key to it all. Life is just about anything that you can stick your dick in, and that's what we're all working toward. The more money you got, the more things you can stick your dick in. And just remember that. Life lessons for all the kids out there.
You're an idiot, Jerry.
You heard it here on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. Life is just about what
you got to find the best thing to stick your dick in. And the one that I like best is on Route 13 at the truck stop outside Abilene.
God, Jerry, I'd like to apologize to my grandmother, my cousin, and also the
What's your grandma's name? I mean, hey, son, I'm 79 years old. You got a picture?
Well,
all right, Jerry.
unfortunately,
Let's talk about your
it
Dallas
moving,
Cowboys real quick.
All right, yeah, let's talk
know-
about the Dallas Cowboys, because if you go over to cowboyshop.com right now and you say, here's the promo code Keith is a moron, you will get yourself 25% off any grandma shaped hoodies.
Well, what's your outlook on your team? You had a big injury.
That's right, I did. I fell down the other day and I busted up the side of my hip. I got a big old bruise on it. You should see it.
I'm talking about your
Ask
offensive
Keith's
line.
grandma what it looks like. She looked at it.
I was talking about your offensive line.
That's right, Tyron Smith. That's right. I told you.
What's how's old Dak looking?
Well, Dak's looking a little scared right now. He's running around back behind my office all the time talking about, you're going to trade for one, right? You're going to trade for one, right? You're going to trade for one, right? And I said, shut up and settle down, Dak. I'm telling you right now, you already got your money. If you got to spend the year sitting in the hospital, it doesn't make any difference. We've already made the payments on the stadium all the way through to the end of the season. So we're good to go there. Everything's going to be just fine. And as long as I keep telling them yahoos we're going to the goddamn Super Bowl, they'll keep believing it. Believe that. I can tell you that's for sure right now. Listen here. I picked up a goddamn Pomeranian I found running around my neighborhood. I signed the Dallas Cowboys. I said Dak Prescott signed it right on the top of that dog, and I sold it on eBay for $6,000. They'll buy anything.
Well, that's good.
Was there a promo code?
What was the promo code? The promo code is Jesse's got a hell of a lot of beard sticking down there over his goddamn neck. And that way you can get T-shirts. That's right. You can get T-shirts made specifically for people that live in Virginia, where the design is down there on your belly, where it can stick way out and everybody can see.
Jerry, as always, we appreciate you coming on our show.
I don't mind. It's quite all right, fellas. I tell you what, every time I come on your show, I sell at least 3 sweatshirts, and that's always good.
Well, I guess we'll see.
I'm going to hold you to it there, Keith. I want to see a picture of your grandma.
Oh, she's a hottie, let me tell you.
I'll tell you what, if she's really hot, I'm not going to settle for any goddamn DNA test. You can just stay your butt over there in awful ass New Jersey, New Brunswick, wherever the hell you are.
Jesse, hang up on him.
Yeah.
Be done with this nonsense.
We'll see you during the season. We'll talk to you during the season, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Jerry Jones, everybody. Jerry Jones. He's always got some shit to say, doesn't he?
John, next time, turn your goddamn camera off and throw a Jerry picture up there.
I'll give it a shot, but dude, it's been a hell of a week. It really has been a hell of a week. I haven't had time to go do a whole lot of stuff that I've needed to do. So,
Listen, when I saw that video online of him saying the glory hole, I was drinking some Gatorade and that shit spit out of my mouth. I couldn't
There it was.
believe
Glory
he
hole.
fucking.
There it was. Glory hole.
The glory hole. Let me tell you something, son. Sticking your dick through an anonymous hole in a gas station is just one of the great joys of life.
Jesus Christ, John.
Keith has left the show.
There it was. Glory hole.
Well, I got an announcement to make.
Okay, go ahead. Make your announcement.
Our good friends from
Should I play the
across,
announcement music?
Yeah, no, you don't got to.
All right,
Our good friends from across the pond had invited me to stay with them in their Airbnb.
The Queen is coming?
And now Scott Hartley and myself are arguing which one is going to be the big spoon or the little spoon. So, yes, sir, Scott. I'm the big one, man. I'm the big one. I know you want to tickle, put your hands through my beard, so I'm waiting to cut it off just so you can ruffle it. So it's going to be exciting.
Is that a banger in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me?
It's funny. It was funny.
Hey, Scott Hartley, if you're listening to our show, whatever you do, take this advice. Don't use Jesse's loofah.
I was looking so forward to using the loofah, the storied and fabled loofah.
If you watch this video and you see my beard and all the gray, that's because I took Jesse's loofah and his ass remnants went all over my beard.
Hey.
Now, this music has actually been played in British porn, and you can see the girl is going, One tooth is sticking this way, the other one's sticking that way. Tell me what, a blowjob from one of them is like it's a risk. It's a risk.
Well, one thing's for sure. Hopefully that girl's better looking than Andy, because that dude is ugly as. Oh. That's right, Andy. I said it. You're ugly, and I don't care about you. And
he's
you're not
delivery
famous.
man. He is the most popular man everywhere on his route.
Yeah. So take that, Andy.
So big shout out to the Brits. I can't wait. Excited to hang out with them. It's funny. They originally
tea and crumpets.
They originally got.
We did that last year. Didn't we find out what a crumpet was?
They had originally got the daggone shitty or in a I guess a shitty neighborhood. I wasn't familiar with the neighborhood. So Andy put a tweet
doesn't want
out.
to piss any listeners off that might be there right now.
And Andy put a tweet out there on Twitter. It said, "Do y'all know anything about the Temple Hills neighborhood?" And he got so many retweets like, "Dude, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all staying there?" So he texted me. He was like, "I don't know if we're going to stay here, man."
Sounds beautiful out. It's got a nice temple and a lot of rolling hills. It sounds like very pastoral.
Oh man, I can't wait. I'm obviously looking forward to week 1, and it looks like there's not many tickets left. I was looking online, and I was looking. I mean, there's tickets left, but I definitely don't think a whole bunch of Jaguars fans, because I think they have about as many fans as we do that go to their games, and it's not many.
Look, for all of everything I've said this whole off season, and even in this podcast, if Cole Holcomb busts through the freaking line and smashes goddamn Trevor Lawrence and makes his Breck hairstyle go flying all over the place and makes him fumble, he's my best friend forever.
There you go.
Until week 2, John.
Hey, that's the nature of the game, right? He'll get himself a attaboy. That's right.
Well, that's all I got, fellas.
That's all I got too. Have we come up with a closing for the show?
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Nope. Well, there it is. This is the end of the show.